Why Ghostbusters now?
Well, it's an amazing idea. That's what I love about it, because the original movie was so great, but the idea behind it was so awesome, which is funny people fighting the paranormal technology, and yet with everything we can do today with new special effects,
Right.
and the fact that we have a whole new crop of funny people that could showcase in it, it was too tempting.
And these actresses in particular, what drew you to use them, and also why an all-female cast?
Well, I looked at the old one and said, why was that so great? And outside of the story and the idea behind it, it was because they had the funniest people at that time working. So I said, I gotta work with the funniest people here, and I work with funny women, and it was a no-brainer.
So I've noticed that Leslie Jones has been getting a little bit of flack. It seems some issues, I think racially especially, there's always more, I think, that black actors have to live up to. What do you think about the controversy, and have you offered her any advice?
Well, no, the whole thing, I mean, when we're making the movie is I just want people to play themselves, and I want them to bring their own unique voice.
Right.
And when we were putting this together, I just looked for what is the role that each person can shine the most in. And I just knew this was going to be such a great showcase for Leslie. And as far as now, I mean, it's just, she's very proud of this role, and I'm sorry that there's any kind of controversy about it, because I think once people see the movie, they'll see what a fully three-dimensional great character she is.
Right. I think sometimes people make judgments from trailers.
Well, that's the problem with trailers. It's funny. Like, I always have to say, look, I don't make movies to make trailers. I make movies to get you in a theater for 2 hours and have fun.
And we're definitely living in some pretty tense times, whether we're talking about politics or just like social issues.
Yeah.
What role do you think that comedy can play, and as a filmmaker, what responsibility do you think you have?
Well, it's why I do comedy, because I want to just make people forget their problems and have fun for 2 hours. It's almost an immature kind of job to get to have, because we're almost like saying, like, don't worry about the big problems. But at the same time, you need that stress relief. People need to have that outlet. And if we can be the ones that can bring that, then that's great. And as far as responsibility on our end, the only responsibility I ever feel is I don't want to put anything mean-spirited out into the world. Even if we're doing something that is a little more, I don't know, tough or that way, you still don't want it to be ugly.
Okay, I also asked Melissa and Kristen this, but what are some of your fears, and how did making this film help you conquer them?
Oh, that's great. I mean, I was always afraid of making a movie with enormous special effects, because I would watch those movies and just be overwhelmed immediately.
Right.
Like, how do you even do that? But then realized, you know what? It's like anything. When you make something, you go one day, one step at a time. And I feel like I really conquered that fear, because now I'd like to do another one.
And Bridesmaids, highest grossing film with a female cast previously. You think this one can outdo it?
I hope so. I certainly hope so. This doesn't cost a lot more. But no, I really do, because my goal is to get to the point where, even though it's funny women in the cast, men in audiences, but especially men, don't have to look at a poster with women on it and say, like, oh, that's not for me, that's only for women. Like, women go to see movies starring men all the time, so we got to open it up.
Definitely. Now, the legacy of this film, can you speak to that? Like some of the actors that played in the original roles, as well as working with them in producer roles.
Yeah, they were so supportive from day one. Honestly, when I first announced, even before I had cast anybody, written the script that we were going to do with 4 funny women, Bill Murray, immediately said in an interview that he was supportive. Yeah, and he said we should hire Melissa and Kristen, which is like, all right, Bill,
that makes it
you're
easy.
smart. Yeah, exactly. And everybody's just been so supportive from there on in. And, Dan Aykroyd's one of our producers, and just everybody's pitched in.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on this film. It's been great talking to you.